Welcome to another episode of Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we're talking about Pixar's new movie, Luca.
Luca, which I just kind of had to sit here for a second and just wonder how the hell does Pixar do it? They are just so good at finding that heartstring. And it's a different heartstring with almost every movie.
Right.
But they find the heartstring to pluck. And
they know how to tell a story.
They really do. And just some stuff to get right off the bat. One, spoilers for Luca and possibly other Pixar movies that we may talk about throughout this episode. And also you might hear a dog in the background because Maya is once again our third host of the show.
Of course, she did run out of the room as soon as you mentioned her.
You know, I think that's the key. We should commit her to being in the episode and she'll leave. Yep, she just laid down outside the room now.
Oh, she's not lying down. Here she comes.
She's lying in wait. Oh, hello, Maya.
So if you hear any horrifying mouth sounds, it's probably a dog and not Ian or I.
It's like, let's just say 90% of it is probably the dog. So anyways, Luca. This was just a beautiful, like, love song to, like, 70s Italian film.
Mm-hmm.
And just whoever made this just had just, like, not just whoever made this, but, like, the team that made this just nailed what people thought of the Vespa at the time. And just the fantasies that these kids had with the Vespa.
Right.
One, were beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But two, I was cracking up because they were flying through the space. They didn't at first fully understand how it worked, so they were flying with it.
Right.
Like, I just loved the creativity behind these two water quote unquote monster kids trying to understand human culture, and it's just great. Ugh, so good.
I really liked the cat.
Machiavelli
was a good character.
I'm gonna have to say my two favorite characters were Machiavelli and Uncle Ugo.
Obscure choices.
But they were so good. They were so funny. I'm actually genuinely surprised to find that I haven't seen Machiavelli on here. Oh, cat. Card player. No. Is Machiavelli even on here?
I don't think so.
Because I was half expecting it to be voiced by Alan Tudyk at this point.
Yeah.
Though I don't think he's done any Pixar stuff yet. It's all
been Disney animation. Would have been a really nice addition to his resume.
He went to Juilliard, you know.
Yep.
I just love that every behind the scenes that he's in with these animated features where he's either a chicken or whatever.
Sure.
He always just has that line of, I went to Juilliard.
Right.
So good. I don't know how they do it. I genuinely don't know how to do it.
They have a list. They have a list of rules that will get you started on how they do it.
So you mentioned that. And so I pulled it up. The 22 rules for Pixar's rules for storytelling. And they are some of the best writing advice tips I have ever read.
Mm-hmm.
They are just so good. So I think we should go over a couple of them.
Sure.
So, rule number 1. You admire a character for trying more than for their success. And I think yes, these are Pixar's rules, so you're going to find connections with other Pixar movies in it, but I think this is one of the biggest ones, like especially with like Cars and oh my god, Puppy Dog. She has just a knack of
Good
breathing
job.
directly into the microphone.
Yeah, she's real good at finding her mic.
Yeah. Her mic awareness is on point.
If only we wanted her to be doing that. Oh, is that gonna help? Just mouthing my hand? I'll hold your paw.
Oh. She's just insecure. She wants her paw held.
Yeah.
Anyways.
She wants to lick my armpit is what's happening here. Stop that. It's icky.
That's gross, Doc. Anyways, back to the rules.
Yep.
The one that really sticks out to me, though, and I think anyone who wants to become a writer should use this rule, but it's their 9th rule. It says, when you're stuck, make a list of what wouldn't happen next. Lots of times the material to get you unstuck will show up. And it's like, that is such great advice, because that's killed entire projects for me before, where I just hit that roadblock of, writer's block of like, I have no clue where I'm going to go next with this. And so just essentially starting at, well, what wouldn't happen?
Right.
That's such great advice. Yeah, I mean, this list is just phenomenal. No work is ever wasted. If it's not working, let go, move on. It will come back around to be useful later. Love it. Pixar is one of those things that I'm going to watch anything they ever make. They have yet, other than Cars 2,
Sure.
they have yet to make anything that, well, even Cars 2 I didn't hate.
Right.
It just wasn't up to their standard.
Right.
But like everything else has just either been to their standard or better.
Yeah.
Like their last two, Soul and Luca, have just been such oddball choices in setting and storyline, and yet they are both phenomenal.
Yeah. I did love the setup, the opening few shots showing his little world. There's lots of stuff in there. There's a crab named Principessa. Principessa.
Principessa. I loved the names of things in this. Like
everything was a pun.
Everything was a pun. The fish all had names too that were just dorky and adorable. And they were
the sheep fish.
The sheep fish.
The fish that were sheep. I don't know that they were sheep fish.
Well, I mean, they bod.
Well, but sheepfish, I think, is like an actual breed of fish.
Is it really?
I think. I might be wrong.
I
have a computer in my pocket so I can find out.
Oh, Miss Fancy Pants over there.
Yeah.
Got a computer pocket.
It's an old computer pocket, though. My new one will arrive tomorrow.
Ooh, so exciting.
Sheep doodle is one of the first things that comes up when you type sheep. Oh no, they're awful.
Oh dear
they
God!
have teeth.
That kind of looks what they were
They
though.
might have actually been sheepfish then.
You stayed on. Sheepfish. Huh. That's a thing that I've learned now. It has pointy teeth. I don't like that.
Anyway, the sheepfish, they were cute. I liked them.
I liked how bug-eyed they were. And they were like aware but just dumb.
Yeah.
And the one that got kidnapped by Uncle Ugo in the post-credit scene.
Yeah, there's a post-credit scene. If you guys watched this and didn't watch the credits, you gotta go back.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta watch the post-credit scene.
It's worth it.
It pays off that whole character.
Yeah.
Who was otherwise only in a very small fraction of a scene.
Which, I mean, it's Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
So it's just odd and weird and perfect accent.
Punch his heart. It's the red thing there.
Punch it harder.
A
little bit harder. So the cast of this was great.
Yeah.
Sacha Baron Cohen, who I mean, is in it for maybe a minute.
Right, maybe, if you count the post-credits.
Yeah. But it's got Jim Gaffigan, Maya Rudolph, Jacob Tremblay, Jack Dylan Grazer. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is if I remember right, a lot of this was made during COVID.
Yeah.
And so
in the credits it said something about imagined in Emeryville, made in our slippers from home, kind of a thing in the credits.
Yeah, and so that meant also the voice acting was essentially shipped in. Essentially, It wasn't done on site.
Maybe they could have done recording before the bulk of animation.
That's true.
Depends.
Yeah, well,
I've seen it done both ways. I don't know what's standard.
Well, and then you also have to take into account with Pixar's ridiculous forethought. This thing could have been in the making for years.
Sure.
Beforehand. So that's true. That is true. But still, I mean, the fact that this was made, at least finished during lockdown, essentially.
That's one of the things I think we're seeing is that animated things haven't taken the hit that live action things have. I know, like, very clearly the show Bob's Burgers was recording the whole time.
Yeah.
They set up sound booths in their closets because a bunch of clothes will dampen sound just fine. You know, like, the animators can have their software on their home computers.
Yeah.
The actors can record their audio from a closet. Well, they got to keep working. It wasn't the same hardship as, like, having to be on set with 100 people getting the footage, you know?
Right. Like with what Marvel had to do and stuff like that. Well, and Pixar is also no stranger to working from home. Like, I'm pretty sure it was Toy Story 2 that was saved because one of their animators worked from home.
Right. Just happened to take a whole copy of the film to their home computer. I think it was a maternity leave situation.
She was on maternity leave, yeah, and she wanted to keep working on it.
So, like, America.
Right.
Maternity leave. Look how it saved our culture.
Saved Pixar. But yeah, and they had something happen. I can't remember all the details, but they lost the entirety of Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
And this one lady's like, wait, I think I've got a copy of it at home.
Someone just happened to have a backup copy at home.
Yeah.
Which is insane. How much storage space did she have on her personal setup?
I mean, Toy Story 2, so probably gigs upon gigs.
Wow.
Like the 3D assets, especially back then, were gigantic. Like, even today, but that's because they've just gone balls to the wall with their graphics fidelity.
Yeah.
But even back then, like, the low polygon level of 3D that they had, I bet you it was close to a terabyte. But when that came out, that was unthinkably huge.
Right, that was the mid-90s, or almost early 2000s, mid-90s.
Yeah, early 2000s area. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, when did Toy Story 2 come out?
It must have been right around the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. 1999. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah,
Ooh,
I mean,
that picture of Tim Allen, that wasn't the choice. Why'd you go with that one, guys? Look at all the better pictures that immediately show up.
That one.
Well, that one's like Tim Allen revisits his Santa Claus look. But like the one that shows up is like,
or this one,
creepy uncle.
That one.
There you go.
You know,
Tim the Tool Man.
So that our listeners have any semblance of what we're talking about, you're going to have to find all these photos.
Just Google search Tim Allen. It's easy.
I miss Tim the Tool Man, Taylor. That was a good show. At least I remember it being a good show. Yeah, it could be a terrible show.
I haven't seen it in a long time either.
Glasses. But yeah, so 1999, having that entire the assets for that film at home.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is insane. But I mean, they're doing it now.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
there's been
a lot of standards have.
a lot of standards have changed, but there's a lot more cloud-based storage, which, you know,
they must
helps
be
a
operating
lot.
off of. There's no way they're not.
I bet you. Oh, I wonder how big. I bet you they have their own like server set
They'd
just
have
for their
to.
stuff. Because like that's an insane amount of data that they've got to have.
They've got to have that has to be accessible to hundreds of people.
Oh yeah,
instantly.
Well, and there was something I was reading about their workflow with COVID.
Yeah.
And they have essentially a program that allows them to edit the 3D live space with multiple people in the program.
That's cool.
So the people that are working on the clouds will be working on, the people that are working on the lighting are in there. The people that are working on the water are all in there. And so instead of lighting working on this, then the cloud's going in and be like, oh, sorry, we screwed up the lighting. And then the lighting guy has to go in again and back.
They can sort of more closely collaborate.
They can literally be doing it at the same time, being like, whoa, your clouds are fucking this up kind of thing.
Sure.
Or I'm sure Pixar doesn't use language like that.
I'm sure they do. Are you kidding me? You've worked with creatives before.
Yeah. But like they can see it in not real time, but essentially much quicker.
More instantaneous then.
And it's like, that's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, looking at new tech coming along, it's only going to get easier for them to do crazier things.
Right.
Which is going to then make it more difficult. You know, I don't know. It's just, I can't wait for Pixar of 2025, you know, because looking at no RAM for you, puppy.
Puppy doesn't need
You
all
already
that.
have enough random access memory. Did she just burp into your leg?
No, I think she was growling. I think she was like forcing her face through the desk crack that was not big enough.
It's just like dog. But like, if you look at Pixar from 5 years ago,
well, like compare the water in Finding Nemo or even Finding Dory to the water in this. They don't even need to flex anymore. It's just you didn't even notice the water. That's how good it was.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what their flex was for this one, because I think the flex was the real-time changing of the character. Like, essentially there was two character models for...
You could look it up.
That's true. But I don't want to. I'm going to just do conjecture.
Okay.
I think it was, they had essentially had two models running for the monster characters at all times. So when the water hit, it was an instant that transition between the two, which is not easy to do. Not easy to do at all. So I think that was their flex. But everything about this was so stinking pretty that there were moments where I forgot I was watching a cartoon. So when characters were on the screen, yes, it made sense. They were artistically stylized. That's the word I was looking for, stylized. But there were scenes where it was wide angle, like wide shots of the area. Like there's one where their boat is going along at night and you see the reflections of the town in the distance on the water. That could have been just filmed with an HD camera in like the Catalans. Like it's insane how pretty it was. Like I don't know. I can't even put words into how pretty their fidelity has gotten.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the point where I think people aren't appreciating it as much because it looks so stinking good that your brain just accepts it. It doesn't have that ooh, ah feel anymore. It's just like, Yes,
Oh, yeah,
that
of
is
course.
what
Yeah.
water looks like. That is very watery water. Yes.
Right.
Well done.
Right. There is definitely, and they are definitely reaching that point where animation stops being exciting because it's so good. I mean, it doesn't stop being exciting for people who are paying attention to it.
Right.
But if you're just watching it, like, say, if you bring your kid to a theater to watch Luca, you're not sitting there obsessing over how good the water is because it's just water.
Right.
Water isn't that exciting.
Exactly.
Unless you're looking out for the animation quality of the water, like us childless folks who go to the children's movies to watch the water.
Oh man. But I hope it never loses its wonder and whimsy for me.
Well, if you're watching for that stuff.
But I've mentioned it in other movies where it's live action
Sure.
with high quality CGI,
Sure.
where it's getting harder and harder for me to tell.
Uh-huh.
Does she have a squeaker toy? Is
Yeah,
that what I just heard?
she does.
Oh my god. This dog, man. You're a sweetheart, but a menace. Menace, I tell you. But will I ever get to that point with fully
Sure.
CG animated?
Sure.
And I think if they do it right, where they have this art style,
Right, where it's not pure realism.
right, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But her hair
Mm-hmm.
and her beanie
Mm-hmm.
looked real.
Yeah.
When you're looking at her from behind,
Sure.
that's hair and a beanie. I can see the individual frays of the cotton
Sure.
from her beanie. And it's just that's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's every few seconds we're just getting a little me from the dog's toy. She's very proud of herself.
She's a good little squeaker.
Good job.
Sounds like a bird to me.
Like you're like a dying bird.
I loved the character design of the father
Mm-hmm.
and Machiavelli
Mm-hmm.
because they were very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the mustache.
Yeah.
And the scene where I think it's Alberto asks, "So, how did you lose your arm?"
Mm-hmm.
And he has it was bitten off by a monster. I was like, no. I was born with it. I was born like this. And I was
Yeah.
like, huh.
Yeah.
That was such a offhanded remark that was kind of really empowering
Mm-hmm.
for disabled people because
Well, he's one of the first disabled Pixar characters we've seen that it wasn't a point in the story, it was just how he was.
Yeah.
He did all of his stuff the way he did all of his stuff. It wasn't a point in the plot.
The only thing that it changed was how he did things, but he was
Right.
just as able-bodied.
Right.
And he was probably the strongest and most respected person in the town, too.
Right.
So it was just
It wasn't a point in his character that he had awkwardness about it. He was just like, yeah, moved on with his life. He's got his stuff. He understands the reactions and jokes with them.
Yeah. No, it was
it was a nice integration
it was
of
really
a
cool.
disabled character in a way that didn't make it feel like a feat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't let's pity this character.
It wasn't let's
okay.
pity this character, but it also wasn't let's lift this character up to be amazing. He was just another person in the story.
Exactly.
Which is the most powerful form of integrating any sort of different character.
Truly. Yeah. I don't know. It just was. I really loved his design.
Mm-hmm.
His
Well,
character
he was a
design
great
was
character.
Yeah.
He's very similar to the character from the short from a few years ago, La Luna, which is clearly the spiritual predecessor to this movie in vibe. Do you remember that one? The one where they're sweeping the stars to one side of the moon to make it wane and wax?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's very similar character design to the father in that.
That's true. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I have to watch that again. I think the ball went under the couch and the puppy is distraught.
Distraught. It's gonna be okay, puppy. Like, it will not. It will never be okay. How are you standing like that?
Oh, she's almost got it. Oh. If we ever do like video stuff, we're just gonna have to have a Maya cam the entire time.
Mm-hmm. You're a star.
Yeah, puppy dog.
Somebody get you some ham.
Oh, I want to talk about my favorite scene in the entire film.
Okay.
So there isn't a point in this movie that I didn't like.
Sure.
Like, it was just glorious. And I think this actually had one of the best brotherly relationships. Sure. Like, there was nothing romantic about it. It was two boys just becoming best friends.
Right.
And it's just such a beautiful story of it. I love it. But the best scene was the mother and father trying to find their son, and her learning about, like, not learning, but seeing the fountain and just demolishing kids with the soccer ball.
Yeah.
And just the whole subplot of her and her husband just trying to dunk as many kids in water as possible.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was the funniest subplot.
I did too.
Ever.
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I've heard some people who are parents really didn't like it. They thought it was aggressive and unnecessary. I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was so funny.
It's just water. The kids are fine.
No, there was a couple with the soccer ball scene where she just decks a couple of kids with the soccer ball. Just boom. I don't know. Well, this was another one of those where there wasn't a villain.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was, or what is his name?
Yeah, what's his face?
Hercule.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he was okay. I need to help the dog real quick.
Okay.
She's
suffering. Stop suffering.
Okay, Maya. You get ready. Ready? Okay, get it. Okay,
No,
come
get
on,
back
Maya.
out.
Come on. Come on, Maya. There you go.
She would like you to just hold the couch up forever, please.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't even get the same toy you chased under there. It's great. She didn't get the squeaky one, just some tennis balls.
Oh, good. Good. So, Hercule is the antagonist.
Yeah.
For sure. But he's not a villain.
Right.
And once again, they could have very easily made the parents villains.
Right.
But they didn't. They made these parents nervous.
Right.
Who had, in their mind, their best intentions for the kid, but not necessarily the right. Like, not the right actions. And I don't know, that just screams to me like young parents that don't know what they're doing, you know, that want to protect their kid but don't know how to do it. And so
just any parents.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a handbook, dude.
Right? And it's just like, I don't know, I know I don't have a kid, but with like Maya.
Well, and also
like,
you
I
and
sympathized
I have
with
both
them.
been working in childcare for over a decade.
Yeah.
So, though we do not have children, and obviously do not have your full experience, don't add us, parents. We have had to make choices that have affected children's lives for their best interests. So we at least have insight into the process of that experience.
Right.
Like, we're not completely inexperienced in that. We have a strange amount of experience in making affecting decisions in the lives of teenagers.
Yeah, for having as few children as I have, you know, zero.
Zero, right?
We do have a significant amount of experience.
Yes.
But yeah, like, I sympathized with them because not to that extreme, but I've been there where it's just like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And it's scary. Like, I want them to be safe, and they're obviously not safe here,
Right.
kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
Plus, I mean, Jim Gaffigan and Maya Rudolph are just
They had great
hilarious.
chemistry in this.
Yeah.
They were so much fun.
Yeah.
They have relatively few scenes, but the scenes they have are great.
Oh yeah. Just when they kick off the kid dunking,
Yeah.
where the dad's just like, I want to step up. I think I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
And he just goes up to the kid.
Grabs
It's
a kid and
grabs a
dunks him in the
well,
face.
he grabs the kid. It's like, you thought you could get away with this, didn't you?
Right.
Just dunks him. He's like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for this. It's so good.
So good.
I can't wait for the next Pixar thing. Has it been announced? Because I know
No idea.
Onward and Soul were
Mhm.
announced very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Onward had come out and Soul was about to come out, Luca was announced.
Mm-hmm.
But then nothing has been announced
Not that I know of.
that I know of that, when this was released.
We have 2 things. Turning Red.
I have not heard that.
Turning Red. It is a red panda kind of thing. Let's see here. Mei Li is a confident, dorky 13-year-old torn between staying her mother's dutiful daughter and the chaos of adolescence. It's a good sentence.
As a red panda, I love
And
it.
as if changes to her interests, relationships, and body weren't enough, whenever she gets too excited, which for a teenager is practically always, she poofs into a giant red panda. Okay. Sure. I'm ready. That's spring 2022. And Lightyear is announced for summer 2022, which I am more nervous about.
Is that going to be based off of
Lightyear is a sci-fi action adventure and the definitive origin story of Buzz Lightyear, voice of Chris Evans, which is a weird way to phrase that, voice of Chris Evans, the hero who inspired the toy. Film reveals how a young test pilot became the space ranger that we all know him to be today.
So if they base that off of the cartoon Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger, it could be great because that show was rockin'.
Nice.
That was such a cool show.
Well, that's what's upcoming. Turning Red and Lightyear.
Turning Red sounds interesting.
Yeah, it sounds cute.
Yeah, the premise sounds interesting. No, that will be. So was Luca Premiere Access on?
No.
So you could just watch it.
You could just watch it, which
So-
I had previously assumed was Pixar's doing, because every Pixar film that's been released so far has just been standard, though all the Disney releases have been premiere. But apparently Pixar's kind of been irritated about that
Really?
because they think it's making Disney, they feel as though Disney is devaluing their films by releasing them without premiere access.
Interesting.
So apparently it's Disney's choice, not Pixar's.
Well,
It's a weird choice.
That is
I
weird.
must say. I appreciate that I get to watch the Pixar films with just the access, but I do understand what they're saying.
yeah, if they're going
I
to
had
do it for the
assumed
Disney
benevolence
animated.
on Pixar's part.
Yeah,
but
me too.
I do understand this is a new release, why is it not getting the new release treatment vibe? It's getting the direct to DVD treatment vibe that like Lady and the Tramp and all those are getting.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So
Maybe we'll start seeing changes with Turning Red.
I dislike the Premiere Access.
Oh, I do
thing.
too.
However, I am much more okay with it when that movie is released subsequently in theaters.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like, I am much more okay with it.
Because the Premiere Access doesn't scale well for single people.
No, it's
I can go
priced
buy
for
a
families.
ticket for $10 at a theater and see a movie on my own. Great. But I don't want to pay $30 to watch a movie on my home television
Right.
that I am the only one watching. It just doesn't make sense.
No, well, the pricing is definitely designed for a family.
Right.
And
I get it. It's just when there's not another option, it's frustrating.
Exactly. And so now that things are coming out in theaters, I'm much less like bah, bah, bah,
Yeah.
bad against it. But
'Cause I'll just go see it in a theater.
that is so weird that they're that it was a Disney choice not to put.
I thought that was weird too. And I mean, that could also just be rumbling. It's all just internet stuff right now. There's no statements.
Conjecture and hearsay, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I'd be curious to hear the reasoning behind it, whether it was Disney or Pixar, or whether it was a mutual decision or not, you know. Ow. When did that happen? Oh.
Ow.
It's like a cut in between my
That's the worst.
Like the webbing of my finger. Ow. That really hurt.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
You haven't done anything.
It's not fresh either. I've just not noticed it. Oh. That was random and violent.
Random violence.
Anyways. Yeah, that's weird. I think that's why I'll never be a successful businessman, is I have no idea why any companies do the things that they do. And it makes them millions.
I just don't like it.
Well, as a consumer, I don't like it either.
Actively bad business person. No, I just meant from a business perspective. I have several Etsy shops that sell sewn goods, and I had so many people telling me about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, you need to start selling those masks you're making, and I just didn't want to. It felt like profiteering. No judgment if you did. That's good for you. You're smarter than I am. I put them in a box on my porch for my delivery drivers. I just don't like making money off of things. You know what I mean? It's a really bad perspective to have.
Especially
as
if you
a person
want to
who
own
doesn't,
a business.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm not necessarily in the same route. I like making money.
I like making
but
money. I just, But
I get where you're coming from. And, people always ask, like, how do you get to the Bill Gates or the Jeff Bezos level of wealthy? It's like, well, you kind of have to be a pseudo sociopath.
Less empathy is the answer, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Like, to be a good businessman, you kind of have to sacrifice people.
Right.
Like, people have to stop being people and be cogs.
Right.
Or commodities.
Right.
And I don't like that.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'll never be a billionaire, guys. I could probably sacrifice my morals enough to be successful in some manner.
Yeah.
But I will never be a billionaire.
I have a feeling
I just don't have it in me.
The only way I can become even like a millionaire is if I won the lottery.
Right.
That's about it. I'll be content with just making enough to be happy and comfortable.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fund a few projects. Be nice.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind winning the lottery so that we could focus on, the things we enjoy doing.
Right.
But then I'd probably get lazy and fat.
I don't know, man.
You never know. I'd just have to hire someone to stop me from
losing
being
the
lazy
depression
and fat.
of the grind.
That's true. That is true. So this has been a weird episode.
Where did we even get off on that tangent from?
I have no clue. I think Disney money.
Disney
got
money.
Us there.
Disney money.
Disney money.
Disney owns everything.
Literally.
Disney
everything.
owns Drum Corps International.
What?
Yeah, you
Since
didn't know
when?
that? Since for like a long time. Since before I participated in it.
How did I not know
own
that?
everything.
Why would they own Drum Corps
I
International?
don't know.
That
Well,
seems
I mean, why would they own Drum Corps International? They own Drum Corps International because most of the marching bands you see in film are drum corps.
Yeah.
And it's an easy access pipeline. It makes sense. It just doesn't feel like it should make sense.
Disney has such a convoluted and hard to read monopoly.
Yeah.
Like, they've got such a strong monopoly that no one knows about.
Right.
Like, it's insane. So Disney, if you want to buy Casual Cinephilia, well, yeah.
Oh, God.
No. Oh my God, the dog lost something underneath the couch again. What a monster.
See, that's way better.
So is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Luca? This is such a weird episode.
I'm sure there is. But what was it? Oh, I remember what it was. Julie only swears in cheeses. Did you notice that?
I
Santa
did.
Mozzarella, Santo Gorgonzola. They're all properly gendered cheese-based swears. Santa Pecorino. It's wonderful.
So good. Maya, stop it. Stop trying to tear apart my couch. Yeah, the dialogue in this too
It was well
Which-
written.
was one well written, but it was also a lot of it was in Italian, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't just go the Italian accent route. Like a lot of the characters
Sure.
spoke Italian in this.
Sure.
And it was just really cool. I love it. This is such a good movie.
Yeah.
And
was
if
fun
you got
one.
Disney Plus, go watch it.
Definitely.
It's so good.
If you don't have Disney Plus, it's in theaters.
It is in that's right. Theaters are back. It's in theaters.
It's in theaters.
Theaters.
I went to the theater. I saw In the Heights, not Luca. But I did go to a theater, and it was wild.
Yeah. The weirdest experience. I had the weirdest experience. I went into a Rayleigh's without a mask on.
Yeah,
That
right?
That felt
Where we're at,
weird.
California has now opened up to... I don't really like it. It's an honor system based. If you're fully vaccinated,
but
you
how
don't need
else?
a mask.
How else could you do it?
Wait till
without-
the vaccination rates are higher. It's none of the answers
Yeah.
are good.
Yeah.
But since we live in, well, you don't. I live in a county that's very, very politically divided, very deeply and
Yeah.
violently. So it feels like you have to make a political decision as to whether to wear a mask or not, which is ridiculous, as the science points out that it's safe for a fully vaccinated person to go without a mask. It's just a stress I don't need in my life right now, but it is really wild to go into a store without a mask again.
Yeah. Talking about the scientific findings behind it. There was an article I read that I think in LA County, 99% of the COVID deaths last month were of unvaccinated people.
Yeah.
It's like, huh,
I mean,
who would have thought that maybe the vaccine might protect you?
just scientifically minded people everywhere.
Yeah. But I get to go into Rayleigh's without a mask on.
Yeah. It's wild.
No, it's weird.
It's real wild.
I didn't think it, like, getting up out of my car, I was like, oh, I need my mask. Wait.
I've had
No, I
mine in my
don't.
bag all the time anyway, just in case I decide I want it.
So Rachel came home after going to the Safeway over here,
Sure.
and she goes, it felt so weird not having a mask. I thought people were, like, there's a couple people that looked at me, but they didn't have masks on. It was like, I'm not an anti-masker. Wait, none of us have masks on. And like,
Right,
it
that's
was like
the
an
vibe.
existential, like, crisis that
Right.
she had.
Right.
Oh, man. But yeah. Crazy mixed up times we live in.
Crazy times. Also, kind of like if I wear a mask and sunglasses, my face could look like a frog and no one would know. But when you don't have a mask, you have to pay attention again. And I don't know, man.
There's a meme that I saw. It's
If
like,
it weren't so damn hot,
oh my God.
then
yeah.
I'd probably still have the mask
Yeah.
on.
108's a little rough to wear a
Oof.
mask. But there's a meme that I saw. It's like, I don't know if I can go back to not wearing a mask. I've gotten so used to mouthing "fuck you"
Right.
under my mask that that's going to be a really hard habit to break without
Right.
something covering my mouth.
Yes.
Anyways, do we want to talk about what movie we're talking about next?
Sure.
That was a weird sentence that I just said.
Yeah.
So,
Our next movie, which we've been waiting for a long time now.
yeah, this was borderline Tenet level
Right.
of anticipation, or waiting at least.
Yeah, is Black Widow.
Yes. So Black Widow is finally coming out, and we are going to be reviewing it next. And I'm very curious to see if there's anything that's happened in the Marvel shows that will affect the movie.
Yeah.
But
I
technically,
don't
this
feel
movie
like
was
there
made
will be, right.
before any of those.
Right.
And I don't even know. I think it's set before.
Is it a prequel? Yeah, I think it is, right?
I think it's set in the time between Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh, okay.
I think, but I'm not
I
sure.
have no idea.
I know
When they
very little.
Postponed
about
it.
this.
I was basically like, nah, later.
All I know is that it takes place before Endgame because she's not dead.
Sure.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and that's going to be our next episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank the patrons.
Patrons, Jenny, Jake, Pam, and Graham.
Thank you, Jetty, Jake, Pam, and Graham.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting us. And if you would like to support us, go visit us over at patreon.com/casualcinephilia. We put up a lot of free stuff that relates to the episode that we're currently talking about.
We'll have Pixar's storytelling rules up for this one.
Yep. And maybe a picture or two of Tim Allen. Who knows?
Probably not.
Probably not, but you never know. And maybe a picture of Maya so that you can put
we'll
a face to the
picture of
noise.
Maya.
Yeah. But we also have another series in there called The Small Stuff that goes over smaller things like trailers and music videos. And so, with that, this has been another episode of Casual Cinephilia. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.